PK here. Today I wanted to talk about a different kind of Call of Duty. Instead of talking about Call of Duty World War II, which is what a lot of people are playing and either absolutely love or hate, there's not much in between really, and I want to talk about a more low-tech Call of Duty, and that is Call of Duty Modern Warfare Reflex Edition for the Wii. Or just Modern Warfare Reflex is actually what it's called as well, depending on which version of the game you have. Because there was an earlier print version that just said Reflex instead of Reflex Edition, but that's kind of a minor thing. Well, anyways, I want to go over some things that are really awesome about this game, and some things that aren't as good. But anyways, let's get going here. Let's talk about Call of Duty Modern Warfare Reflex Edition. Okay, so first let's talk about the upsides to this game. The upsides. This game has two-player co-op. Yes, two people can play in campaign mode. And the second person can join at any time throughout. So you could be in the middle of a game and somebody else could join. That's a huge positive thing. Now let's get to the big thing. Why do people like Call of Duty? It's usually not for the single-player campaign, but there are people who like the single-player campaign. But what people most like about Call of Duty is playing online. And this game, you can still play online. Yes, in 2017, you can still play Call of Duty Modern Warfare for the Wii online. Obviously, there's a smaller pool of people playing this game in 2017 than there was in 2009, but there's still very much an active community. I almost never have a problem finding a game to play, or a host, a game that gets set up, especially in team deathmatch. So this game is very much playable. The graphics don't look half bad for a Wii game, honestly. I've played it both on a standard CRT TV here on my Wii, and then I played it on my Wii U upstairs on my HD TV. They both get rendered a little differently, but for the most part they still both look really good, especially for a Wii game in 2017. There's a lot of upsides to playing this game. No map packs, no updates, no DLC, no loot boxes. And one of the things I like most about it is no voice chat. Yes, which for some people really love voice chat. I mean, I don't like it, frankly. I don't want to hear from some kid about how he's had relations with my mother, kind of thing. I don't really enjoy listening to that. So this is a great advantage, in my opinion, is having no voice chat. And that means also don't have to buy a voice headset. Another thing is, of course, you don't have to pay to play online. Every modern console nowadays makes you pay to play online. The PC doesn't, but anyways, this is a game you can play online for free. That's pretty nice because you might not want the commitment of having to play online. One of the things I like the most is the price point. I got my copy for about, I think, like $6. And I've seen them go between $4 to $10. And if you're really just desperate, it's like, oh, I got to go out and buy this immediately. You could buy it at GameStop for like $10. It's still selling. And in fact, what's interestingly enough, this game sells for $10, whereas a Call of Duty Modern Warfare Game of the Year edition on PS3 is selling for $5 at GameStop. So this tells you a lot about GameStop. Even for some reason thinks this is a valuable game. But yeah, it's very much. I wouldn't pay more than $4 to $6 for it, honestly. And it's very much worth it. Honestly, this is some of the best $6 I ever spent. This is a lot of fun. It's just quality, mindless killing. It's what you see is what you get. You don't have to worry about, oh, I got to play. Oh, I got to pay for this map pack, like I said, or DLC, or ooh, the loot box or whatever. Yeah, you don't have to do any of that crap. It's a game you just put in and play, which is just something that's really lost on most online games nowadays, for consoles at least anyways. Another thing I like about this, you could use your Wii Blaster if you wanted to play this game. In fact, I do it sometimes too. It's not as... Some people prefer to use the standard, controller and the nunchuck. I mean, that's a good way to... That's probably a better way in some respects to do it, just because you have better access to the D-pad, because the D-pad actually has some functionality, especially as far as using it as a melee weapon and whatnot. But anyways, yeah, so this is not actually a bad control setup, honestly. And it's probably in some respects more realistic than what you would be using for... Obviously, using a controller is not realistic at all. So there's that certain aspect of which I think is really cool. And well, let's get to some. Is this a perfect game? No, there's definitely downsides to it. And you know, back to what I was talking about with the controller. Controller settings. This is not a game where it's like, oh, I can just grab a regular standard controller and just start playing with. You actually have to adjust your settings a little bit. What's nice is there are a lot of people who've had this issue and posted their online settings of what works for them, and what works for them might work for you too. And I would recommend people who play this game to experiment with your settings a bit. Just figure out what works for you. And something that nobody really ever told me, but is absolutely important: adjust the sensitivity of your Wiimote if you're going to play this game. Wow, makes a huge difference. Even with the best settings, if your Wiimote is either not sensitive enough or too sensitive, that can be a problem at times. But and of course, the graphics. I mean, I think this looks really good for a Wii game. And I feel like it looks better on the Wii U personally. I don't know if it really does or not, but don't expect, Call of Duty World War II graphics, obviously. So those are the upsides and downsides of Call of Duty Modern Warfare Reflex on the Wii. I'm going to leave my friend code in the link in the description below, so if anybody wants to friend me on here, maybe we'll get a few games in. And but anyways, well, I mean, what are your thoughts? I mean, is there a Call of Duty game that you like? Is there a Call of Duty game? Do you just hate all Call of Duty games? I personally, have never been a big Call of Duty fan, honestly. Like, the only game I'd really ever played was Modern Warfare 2 on the PS3, and that was when I was years ago when I was deployed. And I remember I played it a couple times, a couple friends. I wasn't very good at it, but honestly, I'm getting a real kick out of playing this every time I do play it. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching, and no, that's a stupid joke. You're right. That's not even fun. Anyways, thanks for watching, and keep on gaming.